keep having all these problems. How we gonna solve them? Every day it's the same thing. All these unsolved issues, I guess it's official. Here we go again, the same old thing. And I'm tired of arguing and lying. So goodbye.
Give me 1 second, good people. I'm trying to. This app is looking a little different today. Here we go. You can talk to them real quick.
Hey, guess what? I have a friend, and I like him very much. And he plays with me. And we play together. Sometimes we do bad things at the church. And sometimes we don't. And my mommy works at the church. And Pastor Mo works at the church. And Moj sometimes be mean to me. And Christian, not my friend, Christian. I know Junior and Cameron too. 3 of them be mean to me. That's the end.
All right. Yes. My apologies, y'all. This app is looking different. I'm gonna restart my device. But anyway, man. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'll start the juice recording once I can get my device restarted. But yeah, man, for those that do watch this part of this video, hey, hope you guys had a good weekend. I'll get into my weekend shenanigans. Those of y'all that don't follow me, we'll talk more about that in a moment. But those that do follow me already, then y'all already know. Y'all already know what your girl has been up to this weekend and everything like that. And I'm grateful and thankful for everything that has taken place. And I took some time to reflect on that this morning. But let me try to get this thing on and together. Yeah. So I still use Anchor to record. And let me see. Will they let me record anymore? I know they were saying some changes was coming, but I didn't think you wouldn't be able to record. So if that's the case, then I don't like that. Let me see. It's only saying upload. Okay, so while I navigate that, let me move forward as if this thing is on. Okay. So good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is July the 15th, 2024, and today the topic is becoming more like Christ. Happy Monday. It's Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Yes, mine was good overall. Highlights from my weekend goes as follows. Y'all know that I participated in the Pain to Purpose conference. Yes, it was a lunch and learn experience, and your girl was one of the speakers as well as part of the panel. So thank you so much to Dr. Robbins of New Dimensions for the invitation. She asked me to come speak on marriage and relationships, and I believe I did so. Yes, I was led by the Lord to talk about relationships in general more so. And then I also got a chance to touch a little bit on the married side of things as well. I find it to be amazing how God has used, again, my own personal testimonies to feed and fuel the things he's doing with me, for me, and through me, including this Lunch and Learn conference that I took part of. Not to say I wouldn't have had no content to say if I didn't go through the things I was going through, but the fact that I had so much on time, timely content and information to share was very, very interesting. So, I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share. I'm grateful for the opportunities to show my books and whatnot as well, because people were purchasing and supporting in that way as well. And it was a good day. So I'm thankful again to New Dimensions. That's my third time visiting that, I guess you would say, campus. They have a space where you can pray, walk. It's like a retreat area space, that type of thing. And it's nice, man. It's really nice. It's in my hometown of Jackson, Georgia. I wanted to try to get her mom and things like that, because good collaborations and good networking is always good, I would say. Shout out again also to one of my homegirls. Her name is Maria. Those that see, I was able to record my speech in particular. I'm sharing mine in particular. I didn't share the other two ladies, but you will also see a glimpse of Maria, because she gave the introduction and everything like that. And she's been a friend of mine for some years now, a great supporter of me and my endeavors. And so it was nice to, be in her presence again. And I'm thankful to her for connecting with me with Dr. Robbins, So I'm grateful, man, all across the board for everything. And I just was taking time to reflect on that this morning. I took time to just thank the Lord for, again, where he has me and the things he has me doing. And just seeing how everything comes to fruition. I'm just grateful for it. So that was what Saturday looked like to me. And then, or from my end of the situation. And then, pretty much just came back home and got rest and was preparing for Sunday. And then Sunday came, and I did my 2 gatherings of work, and then my 1 gathering of worship and, receiving. And it all was good. Pastor Mo was back in town, so he was back, and he gave a good word, a timely word, I would say, on is this the end and everything like that. Yes, I can acknowledge the things that have happened over the weekend and whatnot as well. I won't put my 2 or 25 cents unless the Lord wants me to put it out there. But all I would say in regards to obviously what happened to former President Trump and things of that nature is that at the end of the day, man, this is the only president in my lifetime that I've heard of with an assassination attempt. I think maybe Reagan, but I think I may have been just born when that happened. So how long ago was that? Almost 30 something years before, that I know of, that we had a quote unquote presidential figure be targeted in that way. So that is something, that is something to think about. As well as, just across the board. I mean, let's think about if this was me during my speech, you know what I'm saying? Let's think about, the family member. They hear about a gentleman that, passed away, protecting his family from the bullets and things of that nature. And so, just keep these families in prayer. You know what I mean? Keep our country in prayer. Those of us that are here. I mean, even if you're not here, keep your country in prayer. Keep the world in prayer at the end of the day. Like, pray that we all become more like Christ. You know what I mean? Like that should be the goal at the end of the day. So anyway, so yeah, that was kind of addressed a little bit yesterday, as well as just, again, the timely message that the pastor shared. And children's church went well. I mean, I feel like the first gathering, we ended up doing everything. The second gathering only did like part of the things, but again, I mean, we have to just kind of go with the flow and things of that nature. And so I feel like, again, both Saturday and Sunday went well. I came back home yesterday and, grabbed a little something to eat or whatever the case may be. And I ended up starting back up with the whole Chosen series situation, y'all. I was able to start season 4, and it was good to just pick that back up and, stay rooted and grounded in the Lord and, things of the Lord and things like that. And one thing I would say, man, watching that series, like the tenacity that those people had, right? Like, and I don't know, that could be the way that the show is portraying it. I'm not sitting here and acting like these are the exact people that we're reading about in the Bible and everything like that. But to know that, okay, these people took like deep time and everything like that and put a lot of effort into memorizing the word, you know what I mean? And then not only that, they was very ritualistic with the way that they would pray, and you know what I mean, and all these different type of things where we just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't operate like those individuals. Like, so that was just something to think about. I was looking at that yesterday, and I was like, man, I'm taking out time every day, now to study and stuff like that and to share, but that's on a whole nother level. So y'all get to a higher level, right, of commitment to the Lord and the things that He wants us to do. But anywho, y'all, let's get into this conversation, becoming more like Christ. So, what was the inspiration this morning? Well, I would say a lot of things inspired the conversation. I mean, obviously, again, reflecting over everything that I've taken in and done this weekend, maybe even reflecting on, again, what I just told you guys about Chosen. Ultimately, though, I would say that the inspiration came from a couple of things. I know earlier this morning, I think it was, that I saw something on social media that was kind of talking about how Christ wasn't no punk. They didn't use those words, but it's pretty much they were saying like, that He wasn't someone that just, wasn't a pushover or anything like that. And then obviously, again, I'm watching the series and He's addressing the Pharisees and Sadducees straight up head on with, the way that they were thinking and things like that. As well as just knowing that, again, He did. I think I saw another quote as well that talked about, I think it might have been the same thing, that was kind of showing like He literally, would call people out on their sin, whatever case may be. And it's not about, making people feel bad or anything, but it was about, again, addressing the situation. Now, obviously, He has authority, right, as the Lord. More authority than us, right? But still, we need to emulate those type of things. So that was on my mind this morning. And then I'm trying to think like what ultimately got me to think about becoming. I think I was ultimately kind of just thinking about like well, some different situations that I've been in recently, and I've been having some questions about like, well, am I doing the right thing? Like, which thing is the right thing? Because I see verses that say do this and do that, but then I also see verses that say, do this and do that. Or I also feel like the Lord is leading me to do this or that, and it might be in conflict to the verses and stuff like that. So which one is right? And things of that nature. And ultimately, I was noticing how. I was having a conversation with the Chat Holy Bible app, which shout out to them, man. They actually reached out to me and asked me if I could help them, with the app in the future and things of that nature. And so I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful to be, and I'm honored to be chosen to assist, to help out in any capacity. So that was really nice. But anywho, so like I was saying, I was having this conversation with the Chat Holy Bible app, and ultimately it was saying, okay, it seems as if you're having an issue with your own growth and maturity, as well as, again, feeling bad or about the situations and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly. There was like, which one is it? And I'm like, well, it's definitely both of those things you said. I'm like, it's definitely both of those things. And then ultimately, it started talking about, my spiritual growth and things of that nature. And that made me really think like, well, what is it that God is getting us to grow to? You know what I mean? Like, why is He getting us to grow? Because on one hand, again, we know that, again, we all sin and fall short, right? We're nowhere near Him, right? And that's why we need Him, because we cannot be perfect. But again, even though He knows that, He's not calling us to stay there. He's calling us to become more like Him. Although not perfect, but on the way towards perfection, I would say. And so thinking about that today, I was like, well, why, Lord? Why are you, calling us to perfection? Or, why are you wanting us to grow and mature and things like that? For what reason? For what purpose? Everything like that. Now, ultimately, HollyBible.com helped me understand that apparently, maybe even could be a variety of reasons, but one of the ones that stood out to me was like, but the fact that we don't know what it's going to be like to be in his presence in heaven. So he's probably getting us prepared for that. So I was like, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, just really thinking about those things ultimately led me towards the conversation of becoming more like Christ, because it's not about, again, us being perfect, and it's not about just you being a better, whatever the case may be. It's being more like him. And I said, well, Lord, that's kind of intimidating, at the end of the day, right? Because I can sit here and try to make a list of all your qualities and try to say, okay, I need to be more like this or that. And it's a lot. It can be very intimidating to us, right? But well, one, I was able to narrow it down to like the top 5 things. So that was one thing that I did this morning. And then also to, again, I guess, like I said, just encourage and inspire you to be more like him, right? To get on the journey if you're not on the journey, and then see the significance and get more understanding. So here go some verses that were standing out to me in regards to these things. 1 John 2:6, it says, whoever says he abides in him ought to walk in the same way in which he walked. Again, we'll be lying to ourselves to say that, I believe in Jesus, right? Yeah, I believe in the Bible, but then we don't acknowledge or do any of the things he said. I mean, there's plenty of verses that addresses that, and then there's plenty of people that think they're doing that, and then they have no relationship with God at all. And that's why I have to be humble, man. I have to be like, Lord, I know I was praying this morning that, Lord, I want to make sure I'm in your will. I hope that you're proud of the things that I'm doing, and that you are, that I am doing the things that you created for me to do, and things of that nature. And so, like I said, I know that can be difficult and intimidating, but the least part, I guess, what I'm getting out of the verse that I just shared is that at the end of the day, again, if you claim to believe, or if we claim to be believers, then the least that we should do is walk in the same way that he walked. So then we got 2 Corinthians 3:18. It says, and we all with veiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. For this comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. So at the end of the day, what I'm receiving here, y'all, is if we are walking in the Lord, and if we're walking in the Spirit, then we are called to be more like him from glory to glory, right? And, again, so this defeats and debunks anybody that feel like they can just have Christ but stay the same. Like, there's no way that you could have the Holy Spirit and feel like you can still walk in sin and live in sin, and to me, now my experience is that's very uncomfortable. It's a very uncomfortable experience. And so either you're comfortable in sin and you're not in Christ, or you're walking in Christ and you working to be more like him from glory to glory every day. And it's an ongoing thing. You're never going to reach that goal of perfection, but at the end of the day, you are striving towards it, and who knows, maybe when we're in his presence, then it'll be complete at that point. Who knows what that looks like beyond what I've already shared, but it's just something to think about. So let me give you guys the next verse that was standing out to me, and that is John 15:12. It says, this is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Friends, I mean, if we don't do nothing else as believers, we should be showing love. Now, does that mean we be pushovers and that we don't stand up for nothing, especially the Lord and the Bible and things of that nature? No, that does not say that at all. Matter of fact, again, we are called to give the truth in love. We can still love and give the truth at the same time. So again, if you are struggling with that, maybe you hopefully can seek the Lord about ways to do that better. But let me share with you guys the top 5 traits of Christ that we all should work on to become more like him. And I even got a little bit of a bonus one. I got a bonus one to go a little deeper about what I was just saying. So the first is humility. Okay. The second one is compassion. The third is mercy. The fourth is selfless love. And then the fifth is forgiveness. All of these things are traits that we should have as believers. And so, again, I'm sure we all can work on these things more. There's verses that you can peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds about each one of these things. You can look them all up on your own at your own leisure. But again, as believers, as people that say we're Christians and things of that nature, then these are the things that we should be operating in. This is what our life should look like. This is what we should exude and things of that nature. I mean, I know all of these things can be broken down on its own, but I mean, do I have to explain why Jesus was humble? I mean, obviously he humbled himself from heaven to come to here, and obviously, he humbled himself in his life for all of us, so I don't know, do I need to break that down anymore? Compassion. I mean, obviously he had compassion on each and every one of us. So at the end of the day, it wasn't, a selfish gain for him to do any of this stuff, and so we should, walk in that, and we should be mindful of those that do, that's another thing. I mean, yeah, I probably gonna, that's something that came in my heart and mind, but I don't know, should I say it? But I mean, again, um, a sign of true belief is compassion for others. Again, I tell y'all all the time, I was struggling with this in the beginning because I'm like, Lord, you gave us all free will. Like what you want me to do, for other people, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they got to make their own decision and choice. And I sometimes feel bad because I'm like, well, maybe I could, go a little harder when it comes to friends and family and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, hopefully I'm letting my life speak, and be an example and things of that nature versus giving tough love and stuff like that. And then also, I mean, again, just having compassion for others, y'all, keeping that on the forefront of our minds, right, versus the back. Mercy. I mean, I talk about this all the time, y'all. Again, we want grace and mercy. We love grace and mercy when it's us. We don't want to give that and extend that to nobody else. At the end of the day, that is what we should be doing. Again, God has given that grace and mercy to me. I give it to others. That's how it should go and flow. And again, if we lived in a world that everybody did that, then maybe things would be a little different. But hey, just throwing it out there. Selfless love. Again, not loving to get any gain. At the end of the day, again, unconditional love. For who? Others? Yeah, maybe even for yourself as well, but ultimately for the Lord and others. And then ultimately forgiveness, man. They say forgiveness is something that can keep you out of heaven or unforgiveness. And so, again, forgive as we've been forgiven. I mean, he's giving us all these examples of how to be and what to be. And I know we're going to struggle because we're human and we want when we want it, and we want justice or whatever the case may be. But again, if we can just humble ourselves, do that first thing, right? Humble ourselves, to be compassionate, show mercy, and give selfless love, and yes, give forgiveness, then you're on your way to becoming more like Christ. There's a bonus word that I throw in there, and it's wisdom, y'all. Again, God was able to use that wisdom, right, and that authority to address the different issues in the world. Now we don't have that same authority that he did, but here's a quote that stood out to me this morning to share. It says, "Remember that true authority comes from God, and your task is to speak his truth in love and compassion." So again, it's not about, I get a good healthy debate is all right every now and then. I'm not trying to say anything about those that are into apologetics and things like that. Some people got that gift and that's what they're supposed to do. But for us that's out here that's just supposed to be making disciples and things of that nature, it ain't for me to get into a debate with you or anybody here all day, every day, and beat them up with the word. At the end of the day, God don't even do that, right? He makes it available and he says, hey, choose you this day who you're going to serve. And so at the end of the day, the least that we can do again is walk in the way that he has presented it, right? And so he's asking us to share the truth in love and with compassion, and that's ultimately it. So I mean, you guys can go deeper. There's plenty of verses in the go deeper section because I told you guys to just go over there to OpenBible.info and plug in the phrase "becoming more like Christ," friends, and that is where the go deeper section, and that's what you guys can do for that. And yeah, man, that's ultimately the juice this morning. So let me share with you guys really quickly the Bible verse of today. All right. And that is Psalm 41:2. It says, "I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to
God, sex, and love.
your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And there you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Anybody listening to the sound of my voice, hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing. All those wonderful things. My son here, NJ, says he has something else to share with y'all. So go ahead, son.
So guess what?
What, baby?
My father said that if I could know these little grapes, I kept calling them berries instead of grapes, and I kept saying them grapes. But now I don't know berries.
Okay.
But then, when I know berries, I know berries, and that's how I got this.
All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful Monday, and I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow at the Lord's will.
Bye.